Hey everybody, welcome back to the Game Vault. This is Captain Beefy as always, and this is the Captain's Log 10/25/22, which is of course today's date. This is going to be something I do weekly from now on. It's going to be kind of like an update on the channel, maybe random news, and we're going to talk about upcoming changes, new features that I'm working on, and that sort of stuff. But I figure I'll start it off with a little bit about me and what turned me onto gaming and what inspired me to create this channel. But before I do that, I'd like to just first off thank each and every one of you for watching and tuning in, and the views, the likes, the comments, all of it. It means the world to me. I started this back in February of this year, and for the longest time I was sitting at like 30 subs, and all of a sudden with my No Man's Sky material, the channel just exploded, and I'm at the time of recording here, I think I'm at like 124, 125, somewhere right around there. And to me, that's amazing, and I cannot thank you all enough. It does mean the world to me. So I am a 52-year-old gamer. So I've been around since the dawn of home consoles, basically. I remember what got me into it originally was my father and I went to see the movie Airplane. And I think that was like the late 70s, or maybe 1980, somewhere right around there, the old Leslie Nielsen film. But while we were waiting for the movie to start, there was a Space Invaders machine out in the lobby. So, we pumped a couple quarters in there, played a little bit of Space Invaders, and had a good old time with that. And, it was a lot of fun. Dad and I both had a good time with that. And I remember telling him, and again, I was young, so my memory and timeline may not match up exactly with what happened, but the gist of it is I remember telling him that my friend Mike had or somebody I knew, maybe it wasn't Mike had the Odyssey, but somebody had the Atari 2600, right? One of my friends. And I told him about it. I'm like, we could play Space Invaders at home, So we saw Airplane and all, and to make a long story short, we ended up at Sears. I don't remember if it was that day or that later that weekend or whatever, picking up an Atari 2600 and getting the Space Invaders game as well as a couple other games. And, the rest was history. From that, I graduated to the Atari 5200. When the when the NES came out, I went to Nintendo. Then I went to the Super NES, and then PlayStation came out back in, God, I have to look at the time. I know somewhere in the 90s, I believe. So I've had every iteration of the PlayStation, the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. And I've been, I've enjoyed PlayStation throughout the years. I've got so much invested in it by now that it's silly to, even consider like changing out to a different platform or whatever at this time. I've got, with years of being a PlayStation Plus member, all those free games stacked up, and, now I get the service, the free service games with the PlayStation Plus Extra and all that. It's just insane. Excuse me. So, it's something I've loved and enjoyed my whole life. And I've always been a gamer, and, I'm not hardcore or anything like that, but, I know my stuff. I'm pretty, I'm all right. I'm all right. I like figuring things out. I like solving puzzles. I like, just that excitement of when something new is coming out, and looking forward to it, especially now that there's so much history to the games. I looked back recently, and I showed my girlfriend's 10-year-old son the Atari Flashback program that I have here, and I showed him like old games like Combat, and I think the football game, and there was the cowboy one, and I think it was called Gunslinger or whatever, and how, I was like, that's the original Red Dead Redemption, and he was like, wow, and you like these? And I was like, yeah, man, this was it when I was a kid. This was so much fun. You'd get your buddies over, there'd be 3, 4, 5 of you, whatever, and everybody be arguing over who's next with the joystick, and waiting for the other guy to die, and who can get the high score, Asteroid, Centipede, Defender. Later on you get games like Contra, and I've watched it all, and I still I still have the cheat code memorized for Contra, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start. It gets you, was it infinite lives or extra lives, whatever. So that's how deeply ingrained that is in my head all these decades later. So it seemed almost natural. I've always been a gamer, and I kind of wanted to do, I've watched a lot of gaming videos, and I enjoy them. I like and I go for different things. Sometimes I just want to see a walkthrough, or sometimes I want to see some strategy. Sometimes I want to see people discussing how they build a character up, or combining their skills and their weapons and armor to maximize that character and make it the best they can. And I was like, I could do that myself. I think that might be kind of fun. So back in February of 2022, a few months back, I started a channel, and I still had the PlayStation 4 Pro at the time. I had a Pro 4, and it had the I put an SSD drive in it myself to ramp it up a little bit. It helped a little, but not tons. And I think the first videos I did were Dying Light 2 videos, if I'm not mistaken. And it was basically just walkthrough, gameplay, and all that. But I was using a capture card and a really crappy laptop to render the videos and all that, and they were coming out at like 360, 480. I think maybe occasionally I get a 720 out of it. They were just awful resolution. And one of my buddies, told me, he's like, well, he goes, you got to step up your game, bro. He goes, I see what you're trying to do and all that. He goes, but you're not going to get the views if you don't have the quality. And I was like, damn, he's right. So I was like, you know what? And this was a couple months in, so I'd already gotten the PlayStation 5. I got that in April. So, I started looking into what it would take for me to build a computer and all that. And it was a decent amount of money to build a computer that would render nice videos. I mean, it wasn't going to be an exorbitant amount of money, but I'm not, not a rich man by any means. I, have my own place, live on my own. I work a full-time job, and it's a decent job and all that. And the thought of putting out money for a computer I didn't need was a little offsetting to me. I was like, well, maybe not down the road. And then I looked into the PlayStation 5 a little bit harder, and I saw the Share Factory app that's in there, and that you can make videos straight through your PlayStation 5. I was like, let me try that out. So I downloaded it, and lo and behold, I was able to make much better videos. Everything's being rendered right there on the PlayStation 5. It's tied directly to YouTube, so I can upload directly to YouTube. I can stream directly to Twitch, and it was fantastic overall, and it really helped change things and helped drive this channel forward a little bit, I think, as far as quality-wise and all that. And so I took all those old videos and I dumped them all into, I think it was a pre-2K folder or something like that it's called, where it's all the old resolution, and, I was going to delete him, and I was like, nah. My girlfriend's like, nah, leave him there. He goes, it shows your growth. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm not proud of him, but I'm not embarrassed by him either, because, this is all about a learning curve, and I've done a lot of learning in the past few months, coming up on a year now, so that's wonderful. But in any case, moving forward, I've been talking to my brother-in-law, and we're going to work together and probably build a PC that I can use to branch out a little bit and maybe actually make a better quality video, because the Share Factory is wonderful and all that, but I would love a good video editor on a PC that I can really have control of. I can layer different numbers of tracks and all that. The Share Factory is great, but it only has, I can lay down a music track, which you hear playing in the background right now, my vocal track, which I recorded separately from the gameplay footage you're watching, and I just shut the volume down on the gameplay footage, talk over the whole thing, play the music in the background, listen to it, kind of balance it a little bit and try to make it work, and then we're done. It's got transitions in it. I can add, in the beginning I added the picture, the little screenshot, and then at the end I'll put my little card at the end, so there's a lot you can do with it, but so much more with the PC. And when I get the PC, I think I'm going to do a little bit more streaming, and I'm going to try to integrate my face into the streaming. Not on regular videos, that's unnecessary, and it's almost only distracting, but I think streaming, it's important to have a face, because then you can have fun, you can connect with your audience a little bit. If you're streaming a horror game, you can get those reactions or whatever, the frustration if it's a PvP game, so that'll be a little bit more fun. But anyway, moving forward through the end of this year, we got 2 big games coming out that I'm really, really looking forward to. One of them is the sequel to this game we're watching right now, and that's God of War Ragnarok. It's coming out in a couple of weeks on November 9th. I'm looking to do, right now I've got the God of War playthrough going on every night. I played through the game in like a weekend or a week, something like that, just a few days, and recorded all that footage and just set it up to kind of lead into this Ragnarok thing. I wanted to replay the game, and I wanted to, just remember the story a little bit and all that. I never really played a solid playthrough of the game before. I put bits and pieces of it and put it up. I don't know why. I've always loved God of War, but whatever. But this time, sat down and just did it. And it was like a movie series. It was great. So we're gonna start with that, and I'll probably do some walkthrough stuff. But I think more what I'm gonna look at is like examining the different skills that Kratos and Atreus get, and their different armor and weapons and all that, and how all that comes into play. And then the next month in December, the Callisto Protocol comes out, which is that Dead Space descendant. It's kind of like the spiritual successor to the Dead Space series, which I am severely looking forward to. I mean, I can't wait for that. Dead Space is one of my favorites. And of course, next year we've got Dead Space coming out, remake. We've got the Resident Evil 4, possibly Silent Hill. There's several projects in the works with Silent Hill. So we've got some great horror remakes coming up, and reimaginings and so forth. Dead Island 2 is coming out. But one big thing I'm looking forward to is Skull and Bones from Ubisoft, the pirate game. And I know it's caught a lot of flack in the community. A lot of people are hating on it, thinking that it's going to be a terrible game and this and that, and yada, yada, yada. And part of me is like, do I want to pull the trigger on this? But I'm like, you know what? It looks like fun. And I think having a different type of game, like a PvP type multiplayer game where I can get together with friends, join you guys, and get out there and go kick some butt and all that. That sounds like it could be a lot of fun. And I plan on, when that one releases, I plan on doing a big live stream, like a 12-hour long live stream. My buddies and I were talking about doing that, where we all do the pirate voices and stay in character the whole time and just blast through 12 hours of that game. And then we'll do regular YouTube videos on like different builds of ships and so forth and so on, strategies and all that. But that sounds like a lot of fun. So anyway, rambled on enough. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you, like more than you can believe. And if you ring that bell for notifications, you'll know every time a new video hits. I do them daily, as anyone who's been around for a while knows. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you would like from the channel. Like, is there a specific game you would like to see me play, or a certain type of a genre or something like that? Would you like to see me go into news during, once a week or something, like little updates on games and upcoming releases and maybe weird stuff going on in the community? I plan on updating this Captain's Log weekly, and it'll be like a, come out midnight Tuesday, Monday going into Tuesday every week. So, tell me what you want to see, what you want to hear, and I'll work on, working with you guys. And let me know what you like about the videos and what you don't like. Criticism is always good, especially constructive criticism. It will help you grow and get better. So until next time, it's Captain Beatty, logging off. I flooded at the end. All right, guys, peace.